Hey guys, what's going on? Okay, got another boxing highlight video for you. Of course, Muhammad Ali couldn't go too long without doing highlight video of this guy, of course. Anyway, so yeah, let's just get into it, and I'll tell you my thoughts as we go on here and there a little bit about Ali and his where he is in the heavyweight ranks and everything as far as I'm concerned. And yes, I have seen about 30, 40 of his fights. Of course, I was not alive when he was fighting. But like I say, when I first really got big into boxing, I tracked down a lot of old fighters on eBay and everything back when eBay was a big deal. People actually sold boxing fights on VHS tapes back then before they would eventually shut you down for doing it because it was copyright issues, of course. I did the same thing for a while, got shut down quite a few times. It was a very good way of making money back in the day for a little bit, but of course that had to come to an end. But anyway, so yeah, guys, so let's just get into it and we'll see what kind of highlights these are.
I told you I'm the real champion. I told you I'm the champion of the world. All of you bow.
I
All
think
of my
this was
fans
after the
bow. All of
Foreman
you
fight.
suckers who write the Ring magazine,
Mm.
Boxing Illustrated, all of you suckers bow. Come to Muhammad Ali. I am the man.
So, guys, the world had absolutely never seen anything like this guy at this time. This is in the 1960s when he first started fighting professional. And I mean, he talked trash, and as a black guy in America, people hated this man. I mean, and he, of course, when he switched his religion to Islam and changed his name to from Cassius Clay to Muhammad Ali, that you can imagine that didn't go over well at all. And there's Archie Moore, former champion. He beat him in 4 rounds. Of course, Moore was a little past it at the time, but you can tell. Look at this black and white footage. That is just insane. But yeah, on the ESPN Classic, he just, I mean, the guy was just too fast for everybody. I mean, but I'm gonna just mute it if that's all right, guys. I just feel like I'm talking too loud if I have to talk over the volume. But sometimes I can really adjust it really well to where you barely hear it. But I think that might be Henry Cooper. I'm not sure. But yeah, guys. Anyway, that's Sonny Liston right there. So Muhammad Ali was like a 25-1 underdog against Sonny Liston the first time. Of course, Liston was the champ. Look at that. And Ali, he beat him. Sonny Liston retired on his stool after 6 rounds, I think. He didn't come out to answer the bell for the seventh. And I mean, people thought Liston was going to kill this man. And I mean, of course, Liston, I believe, was undefeated at the time. He was running through people, just a brutal, brutal fighter. And of course, Liston, put the stuff in Ali's eyes in like the third or fourth round. And Muhammad Ali was telling his trainer, Angelo Dundee, to cut the gloves off. He can't see. That's it. And he was like, shut up. You go out there, dance around, move around. We can get him. Your sight will come back. And it did in a few rounds. And he took it to him. And Liston was like, well, I tried to cheat. That didn't win. Okay, I'm done. There's nothing I can do with this guy. Because Ali was too fast for him, too accurate. I mean, and he was hurting him. So, I mean, it was crazy, but I can't imagine what it was like growing up in this era to be a kid. I mean, I think that I would have definitely been one of the only white kids in school that loved this guy, and I probably would have been beaten for it and stuff, beaten up for it. But hey, whatever. This is just a crazy time, guys. This was 1964 when he won the title for the first time, and just there's Floyd Patterson. I don't know if that's the first fight or the second one between the two of them, but I mean, he dominated him both times. I mean, he just, guys, I don't think, okay, so here's my thing. Um, I think Mike Tyson in his prime would beat Ali in his prime, and I know that's a very, controversial thing to say. Most people would not agree with that, but styles make fights. Look at that. Look at that. That's like 15 punches there. I don't know who that's against. I mean, but nobody had ever seen a defense like this. Nobody had ever seen the head movement, the fast hands, especially for a heavyweight. I mean, this was just unheard of, and he was only like 218 at the time. Of course, heavyweights. Oh, wow. Of course, heavyweights were not nearly as big as they are now, or as they were as they would be even 20, 30 years later than this. You know, guys like Lennox Lewis and people like that were like in the 240s, and Klitschko, and oh, I think this is Cleveland Williams. This is an insane knockout right here. I think that's Cleveland Williams. Yeah, he ends it with just a brutal combination. He got him in round 3, I believe, and I think this is probably the end. Yeah, wow, look at that, just so fast. I mean, and okay, that wasn't the end, or was it? No, okay, this is where he ends it. I'm pretty sure this is Cleveland Williams, guys. Let me know if I'm wrong on that. Okay, I thought that last knockdown was the end of it. But yeah. So guys. So I mean, of course, Mike Tyson's record doesn't show that he, was the best of all time or anything. Oh, that's Ernie Terrell right there, and he's asking him what's his name because he refused to call him Muhammad Ali. He continuously called him Cassius Clay in the, press conferences and weigh-in and everything, and that infuriated Ali because, that was an insult to his religion, and, he wanted to be called Muhammad Ali, and he said, you will announce it right there in the ring that my name is Muhammad Ali. And he asked him over and over as he beat him for 15 rounds, over 15 rounds, back when they had 15-round fights, of course. He beat him up very well, and he asked him continuously, what's my name? So we got to hear some of this, though. I mean,
You will fall the next time.
See how well the
oh,
challenger rolls back from those punches?
man.
And
But
Please courage. The champion has plenty himself.
and people hated him for being so cocky and for talking so much. I've always loved that about any athlete or anybody. If you're good at something, let people know it. What's wrong with that? I don't see the problem with that. I mean, if guys, I tried my hand at boxing for a year or two. I was way too old, but I mean, I didn't do too well. But you know, if I had half the talent of a guy like Ali, I would be 10 times worse as a trash talker than every fighter on this earth ever combined. I would never shut my mouth. I can guarantee you that. If I was half as good as Muhammad Ali, I would be 10 times worse as a trash talker than every fighter in the history of boxing has been combined. I can tell you that for sure, guaranteed. But yeah, I never had a problem with that. I don't see why people hate somebody that, likes to talk or that, brags about themselves so much. And a lot of it was just to sell the fight because he knew people hated it and wanted to see him knocked out. And, there was a great quote from him, hey, whether you pay to see me win, pay to see me lose, just pay. Doesn't matter. It's all the same. But so yeah, I mean, definitely he was the fastest heavyweight of all time at this point, of course. But let me get back into this Tyson thing. I grew up on Mike Tyson, so I mean, yes, I am biased, of course, and people that grew up with Ali are going to be biased to him. My grandfather grew up with Joe Louis, so he probably thought that Joe Louis was the best ever, because that's the best he had seen at the time. Ali, that's the best they'd seen. Tyson, that's the best people like me had seen at the time, because we didn't see these other fighters. So, but anyway, style versus style. I think Tyson's just too fast and he's too powerful. I mean, he, I, I don't think Ali would be able to frustrate him enough to keep him out of getting close to Ali and brutalizing him. Especially Tyson went to the body a lot, and Ali really didn't defend well in the body. He would just kind of grab somebody when they did that and tie him up and let the referee break him. Tyson was a different animal power wise, so I just don't know. I just think Tyson would have gotten the best of Ali. Now, as far as accomplishments go, Ali is the greatest heavyweight fighter without a doubt of all time. There is no person that has ever beaten as many top fighters as this guy beat. Ken Norton twice, George Foreman, Joe Frazier twice, Sonny Liston twice, Floyd Patterson twice. I mean, Ernie Shavers, Ernie Terrell. Uh, just crazy. And he beat a lot of just decent fighters too that weren't the top level or anything. Beat Leon Spinks in their rematch after he was upset by Spinks. That was very much past Ali's prime. But I mean, so many fighters, it's just crazy the guys he beat. Now, of course, Tyson didn't fight in that kind of era, the greatest heavyweight era ever of heavyweight boxing. So, I mean, the greatest era ever at that division was in the 70s, late 60s, but and Ali fought in it and he beat everybody, guys. I mean, up until he was just really shot. Of course, he lost to Trevor Berbick and Larry Holmes. Of course, Mike Tyson got both of them later on, thankfully. But anyway, yeah, I mean, as far as accomplishments go, there's absolutely nobody that can argue that Muhammad Ali is the very greatest of heavyweight boxing ever, as far as that goes, as far as I'm concerned. Um, but just a one-on-one, prime against prime, Ali against Tyson. I think Tyson would beat him. That's my opinion. Most people disagree, of course, and that's fine. But that's just the way I see it. Styles make fights. Tyson is just too aggressive. I think he's too aggressive for Ali. Um, and Ali might be able to frustrate him a little bit here and there, but I just don't see it. I think Tyson would walk through it. He doesn't have great power. He is fast as hell, of course, and he's very accurate, but that's just the way I see that, guys. So let me know what you think about that. But anyway, let's get back into the video. Wow. I've seen that fight, but I do not know who that one is. I just can't remember. Let's rewind it just to that was the Ernie Terrell fight, where he was continuously asking him what what's my name. But yeah, it's just so strange that he all he had to deal with, and of course he ducked the Vietnam War, and he said, I'm not going to go over there to help and kill, to help murder other poor people that have been treated terribly by this country, by the world in general. And I mean, people did hate him for that as well. And people, his title was taken away from him. He was unable to fight to make a living for 3.5 years of the best of his prime years as a boxer. So he went to jail I guess he went to jail, got out on bail and everything, but he was unable to box for 3.5 years of his life, from I believe the ages of 25 to like 28 or so. So that's 3 great years of any heavyweight. That's right in your prime era. So he missed out on that, fighting in his prime for 3.5 years, which is just insane. And that was his first comeback fight right here, the Jerry Quarry fight in 1971. And then he would fight Joe Frazier, or he fought Quarry, and then he fought one other person, maybe Bonavena, Oscar Bonavena, I'm not sure. But or is that Jerry Quarry? I'm not even really sure. I think it is. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, it was a third round stoppage, so that's it. Wow, that looks very young there, but I don't know. This fight does not look familiar at all to me, guys. But anyway, so yeah, of course he came back, fought Frazier. Frazier had the title because it was vacant, and Frazier did beat him. 15-round fight, put him down, I believe, in the 15th and final round, but won by decision. Ali got up, of course. And Ali beat Frazier very dominantly the second fight, and then the third one they went back and forth, the Thrilla in Manila, and it was a back and forth fight. Ali got the best of him, and Frazier's corner stopped it after the 13th round or 14th round. So I think it was after the 13th round. So that one ended in 14. Oh, and Bob Foster. This is Bob Foster, the great light heavyweight champ, and at some point. He had a lot of good wins at light heavyweight. He moved up to heavyweight, well, I guess later in his career, and Ali is just playing with him. He's just no match at all. And I don't. This is probably when Ali was a little past his prime because this is in color here. So look at that. And the left hook coming. Wow, he laid him out. I mean, speed is power, guys. He didn't have a ton of power, but as far as one punch goes or anything, but speed is everything. And there's the Foreman fight, of course, and just. I mean, you talk about the Liston fight, him being underestimated and him, being an underdog. It was even worse than the Foreman fight because this is in 1974, so Ali would have been 32, which at that time was considered way past your prime in boxing. Now, that's not at all, of course, but it was different back then. So let's see what he's saying. Oh, we missed it. I'll rewind it a little bit, guys, because I want to just hear what he says there. There's the Foreman fight. Ali kill him. That was in Africa. Zaire. Yep. And of course, guys, you all know this, but I'll just go over it in case anybody doesn't. But that was the fight where Ali adapted the rope-a-dope style, where he just let Foreman basically just get him on the ropes and tire himself out. And Ali did take a ton of punishment for the first 6 rounds of the fight, pretty much, because Foreman wanted to kill this guy because of all his talking and, he just went out and threw every punch with everything he had, and and Ali had the strategy. He's gonna wear himself out. I'm bracing for the punches. I'm holding him. I'm tying him up. I'm getting him tired, and he will give out. And in that 7th round, he started to take over a little bit, and in the 8th round, Foreman was absolutely done. And Ali didn't even catch him with that big of shots. I mean, he caught him on the button, on the chin, perfect, but I mean, they weren't huge power shots, and it didn't take a lot because Foreman was so drained after 6 rounds of just trying his best to absolutely kill Ali. And Foreman told the very funny story years and years later on documentaries. He would just say, you know, that after every round, Ali would say to him, "That all you got? That all you got, George?" And after about the 5th round or so, or whichever round it was that he said, after Ali asked him that, he went back to his corner and he's like, "Yeah, that's about it." So just a great line from Foreman, just a great guy. But you know, and Foreman was very depressed after this, and he quit for I think he had the one more fight against Jimmy Young.
Am I the greatest of all time? Assalamu alaikum to all the Muslims. Thanks to Almighty God Allah. I want all of you fans out there who believe in me.
Oh, this is Chuck Wepner. Yeah. Yeah, he finished him in the last round. He finished a good bit of people in the last round. I think Bonavena as well. He finished in the very last round, in the 15th round. But yeah, Wepner knocked him down in the very first round, similar to a certain movie that was made because of that. That would be Rocky, of course, and in the first Rocky Apollo Creed fight in the first movie, Rocky knocks him down, very similar, right away as soon as the bell rings, and just like Ali got knocked down against Wepner. And that was the motivation for the movie Rocky, which is just crazy. But yeah, I mean, Ali dominated Wepner throughout the fight. I mean, that was the only good moment he had, really, to be honest with you, from what I remember. But now, who is this he's talking to? Hmm. Oh, I think that's probably Joe Frazier's trainer, guys. Hmm. Oh, that's Foreman. Okay. All right. So this was before the Foreman fight. Yeah. Yeah. So it was all set up pretty much, as far as I know, for Frazier and Ali to fight a second time. but way before they did, and of course, Joe Frazier just lost to George Foreman. Nobody expected Foreman to win or anything, which is shocking, of course. But Foreman just went out and destroyed Frazier in 2 rounds, lifted him up off the ground with the one of the knockdowns, with like an uppercut, I think it was. But it just absolutely terrible fight for Frazier. Foreman just too strong, and it was just a shock. And of course, eventually Ali would get the shot at Foreman in '74, and he finally got his title back, which he never really lost. He did lose to Frazier when Frazier was defending the title, but yeah. So I think it was from guys after Ali had his last fight in 1967 before he, was exiled from boxing and, forced to not fight anymore for the 3.5 years, 3 years, something like that. It lasted three and a half years, I believe, because in 1971, I know is when he came back. Wait, is that right? That might not be right. See, because the Frazier fight happened in March of '71. So he couldn't have come back just in '71. It had to be 1970, I guess. So, okay. Maybe it was about 3 years then, guys. All right, not 3.5 years. But I'm pretty sure he had his last fight in 1967 until the Jerry Quarry fight. So I guess that would have been in 1970 when he came back and fought again for the first time after the refusing to go into the war and everything. And hey, good for him for doing that, of course. But yeah, anyway, guys, hey, let me know what you think about where Muhammad Ali ranks. Is he the greatest boxer of all time? Is he the greatest heavyweight of all time? Do you think he would beat Mike Tyson and if they fought prime for prime? Do you think he would beat the guys now? I mean, just of course they're so much bigger, Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, all those guys, that would be very difficult. But let's just say they were at the same weight. So let's say they were all, 220 pounds or whatever. I mean, that's kind of crazy to think of it that way, but that's what pound for pound means. Just if each fighter, if the top fighters were at the same weight, an equal weight, whether that be heavyweight, lightweight, welterweight, whatever it may be, just say they're evenly matched as far as weight goes. Who do you think would win? I mean, I think it's no question Ali beats anybody in the history of boxing other than Mike Tyson. I just think Tyson has the wrong style for him. That's it. And of course, I am biased. I mean, Mike Tyson's my favorite fighter of all time. But Ali's right up there too. I mean, he's amazing. So one of the greatest ever, absolutely. But I love this guy, and unfortunately, we lost him 7 years ago, 2016. I hate that, but just anyway. Yeah, so quite a life for this guy. Just all he had to deal with, and he, did every. I mean, he rose to the top of the world. He was the most famous person in the world for quite a while. So just a just an amazing life. But anyway, guys, let me know what you think. Drop it in the comments. Leave a like, share, comment, subscribe, and yeah, come join the family. God's Mafia. I'm out.